apocalyptic is the visionary literature. The Greek apocalypsios means vision, that's what it means. It's visionary literature of supernatural sort of kind. It isn't like the earlier prophets, as you see. The earlier prophets were all sort of down to earth, this worldly oriented. It isn't necessarily a heaven and hell type of a literature, but it is a visionary literature. I mean, okay, we have Amos saying, what do you see, Amos? I see a basket. Oh my God, no, I didn't turn it off. Who is this? I don't know who this is, just wait a minute. Yeah? Yeah, Gabriel, why come? I'm just in the middle of a class. I'm about to turn my thing off here, okay? I'm about to turn my phone off. So can you call me like later on or something? Maybe like in maybe in about 3 hours, or tomorrow morning. Yeah, what's up? All right, we'll talk tomorrow about it, okay? Okay. Noontime this time, noontime. All right. I have to go and turn this off. Sorry, you guys. I don't usually get calls on this phone. It was a long distance call, that's why I took it. It was local, I wouldn't take it. Some guy calling me from Arizona. Okay. I just turned it off, so it's gone. So anyway, I apologize for that. So apocalyptic is talking about not necessarily the end time, because I don't see that there's an end time here spoken of, but that's what it becomes as it moves into the Second Temple period in the New Testament and some of the other books. Daniel, for instance, picks up on this. Daniel is really apocalyptic and not prophecy, as we've had it up till now, which is why the rabbis didn't want to include Daniel in the prophets. But Daniel is the next step from Ezekiel. So let's look at Ezekiel's vision. As I said, I like the last part of Ezekiel. That's what I was talking about for the phone right there. I like the last part because I like the Zionist part. You say, well, of course you like Zionism. Maybe, but it's just down to earth. It's not supernatural. It's not miraculous. It's just a very enthusiastic expression of fervor, a very enthusiastic, fervent expression of excitement about things that he knows are going to be. And I think that's the spirit of Isaiah too. So the Zionism in Ezekiel moves into the Zionism in Isaiah too. But there are clearly two different writers. Ezekiel is a different kind of writer. He's a wordy writer. He takes a long time to say anything. He's not as quick as some of the other prophets. Anyway, let's look at the visionary material first. So there's a wind blowing, and he saw this thing, a cloud, which, I don't know, our translations will differ, with 4 animals, and they had human form, and they had wings, and their legs were straight, they had hoofs, they had polished brass. This is what my son tells me, this metallic type thing is all metal that's from extraterrestrial metal, he tells me. So, human hands under their wings. To me, this is not extraterrestrial type of thing. So they move in a certain way. They had human faces, and a lion's face, and a bull's face, and an eagle's face. I don't know what to make of all this, but there's nothing that one can. You read it for familiarity. I'm not saying that you can interpret it, but just to familiarize yourself with it. And there was a spirit urging them, and there were flaming torches of some kind, and fire flashing and lightning. And the creatures ran to and fro like thunderbolts, line 14. And there was a wheel on the ground by each of them. And the wheels glistened as if made of some glistening metal, chrysolite, some mineral. The rims were enormous, with eyes all the, my son, this is the bruise, with eyes all the way around. this is all extraterrestrial sort of stuff, he says. Maybe. And when the Spirit urged them, the wheels went, and the animal was in the wheels. And over the heads of the animal was sort of vault, gleaming like crystal, arched over their heads. Well, you will agree that this is a wild vision. It's been famous ever since. And there was a voice coming out of them as the wings moved, a noise. It sounded like rushing water, and the voice of Shaddai, line 24. And do you have Shaddai for 24, or do you have something else? The Almighty God, what do you have? Almighty Shaddai means the Almighty. Above the vault, over their heads, was a sapphire-looking thing, and a throne. There's the throne. That's why it's called the throne. And there was someone that looked like a man, like in Daniel. There was someone on the clouds of heaven that looked like a man, but it wasn't a man. This one is described differently than Daniel. It's 500 years before Daniel. I saw him shine like bronze. This is the supernatural being. And he had, from the loins downward, what looked like fire. Do you know any painters or poets who picked this imagery up in the more recent time of our history? You read William Blake, seen his paintings? I mean, his paintings are all like this kind of vision, sort of. And like the rainbow on the clouds on rainy days, that's how he looked. And this is the glory of the Lord, glory of God, glory of God. And I prostrated myself, like Saddam is doing now in his trial, reading the Quran, prostrating himself. But anyway, the prophet prostrates. Is that what you have? Prostrated himself, line 28? Same thing. No, face. When you make a new translation, you don't want to copy the other guy or vice versa, otherwise he might sue you for breach of copyright. So you've got to get a new word, that means the same thing. This is interesting because chapter 2, the voice addresses him, and it's clearly supposed to be God here talking. I don't think it's supposed to be an angel. Maybe angels driving the chariots, but this is supposed to be the God speaking. Son of man. Now look, Son of Man in Christianity is applied to Jesus.